The opening scene is set in New York City, where we are introduced to a young boy named Milo. He is confined to a wheelchair, but despite this, he dreams of becoming an astrophysicist. Simultaneously, on a farm in Missouri, a man named Ricky is talking to his friend on the phone. He doesn't notice that an aircraft lands near his house, after which he loses the signal on his device. This signal disruption extends beyond Missouri, becoming a global issue. Soon after, an airplane lands amidst the heart of New York City, with the sky shrouding in fog, and a fleet of enormous spacecraft blocking the sun. In the face of this bizarre occurrence, military forces prepare for action, while citizens descend into panic. The news reporters speculate an invasion, yet the identity and intentions of these newcomers remain uncertain. In a surprising turn of events, the people are visited by their deceased loved ones, who introduce themselves as Karel, the alien supervisor for Earth. Government officials label them as overlords. They all convey the same message, that they're here to help the Earthlings, and to put an end to suffering, hunger, and sickness. They claim that they're not the conquerors, but the driving force that'll help humanity change. They assure that everything will be the same except for one thing: injustice. According to them, a new version of Earth, known as Utopia, will be the new law of the land. In the ensuing days, the world begins to undergo a transformation, just as the aliens promised. Warring people, like Arabs and Jews, come together in harmony. A government meeting reveals that the wars in the Congo, Sudan, and Korea, which could not stop for years, have ended. One evening, Ricky and his girlfriend Ellie are preparing for bed when all the electronic devices in their home go haywire. The residence starts to tremble, so Ricky, Ellie and their dog retreat down to the basement. Soon after, a mysterious light coming from a droid slowly dismantles their house, forcing Ricky to step outside. The spacecraft opens its door, inviting him inside. Ricky agrees to get in, on the condition that they leave his family alone. In response, the droid restores his house to its original state and Ricky boards the craft to fly away. Elsewhere, the military checkpoints close the area over which the spaceship is hovering. However, a crowd of sick and crippled people try to make their way to the restricted area. Amidst this, a woman steps forward with her sick child and lifts the crying baby up towards the sky. In the next scene, Ricky finds himself at the Four Seasons Hotel in New York City. He recognizes the hotel as it's the same place where he and his late wife Annabelle had celebrated their honeymoon in the past. Before long, a disembodied voice introduces himself as Carolyn and proposes that Ricky serve as a liaison between the overlords and Earth's inhabitants. Confused and hesitant, Ricky suggests that someone with more political influence should be chosen for this role. However, the voice mentions that Ricky is the most suitable candidate due to his honesty and trustworthiness. The alien also provides him with a shiny device whose design is futuristic, but its purpose is unknown. Meanwhile, the government officials learn of Ricky's abduction, so a U.S. secret agent named Paul Danlo decides to visit Ricky's farmhouse for additional information. By the time he reaches it, several news reporters surround the area to cover the event. Coincidentally, at the same moment, the droid drops Ricky off and departs. Following this, Paul summons Ricky for a private conversation, during which he demands the surrender of the shiny device. When Ricky resists, Paul holds him at gunpoint, leaving our guy with no choice but to comply. However, as Ricky proceeds to hand over the device, he opens its lid, activating some sort of unknown force. As a consequence, the crying baby from earlier mysteriously gets healed. Hours later, similar reports come from around the world, as various diseases, even the incurable ones, are inexplicably cured. Afterwards, Ricky is summoned to the White House for a press conference. There, he tries to take things slowly by introducing himself as a mediator between the overlords and Earth's inhabitants. However, the situation quickly spirals out of control as reporters press for more information about the aliens. They pose numerous inquiries about Carolyn's appearance and the contents of the droid, none of which Ricky can answer. In the next meeting, Ricky asks Carolyn to reveal himself, but the latter claims that the world is not ready to see him yet. As the days pass by, Ricky is summoned to numerous meetings to deliberate on the future of Earth. The information discussed in these meetings is then relayed to the public through conferences. Ambitious agendas are set, including the eradication of poverty, disease, and the maintenance of global peace. In the midst of these developments, Ellie discovers that Annabelle had visited Ricky earlier, and the Four Seasons Hotel holds sentimental value as their honeymoon suite. This revelation understandably saddens her, but despite her feelings, she assures Ricky of her unwavering support. In just 6 months, the overlords with Ricky's assistance successfully eliminate warfare, hunger, and poverty from the world. They got a long way to go before they get rid of stupidity, though. However, there remains a faction of humans who are hesitant to trust the aliens, suspecting ulterior motives, such as an invasion. A resistance movement known as the Freedom League, funded by media tycoon Hugo Wainwright, is gaining a lot of followers. They start spreading doubt in Carolyn's patronage, filling the streets with protests. Ricky conveys this information to Carolyn and again tries to persuade him to reveal himself. He claims that it will foster trust, but the alien continues to decline such requests. On the other hand, Milo is constantly dedicating himself to gathering the information about the aliens and is trying to figure out how their era works. He uses his extraordinary intelligence to write an essay about the same that earns him a complete scholarship in a new school. According to his research, the overlords are 30,000 years ahead of Earthlings. One evening, Milo witnesses his mother making a purchase from a local dealer and expressing dissatisfaction with the quality of the goods. When she requests a refund, the dealer slaps her and busts out a firearm. Milo intervenes and confronts the dealer, leading into a heated argument. As a result of this, the dealer shoots Milo in the chest, killing him instantly. But just a few seconds later, a beam of light descends from the sky, emitting a mysterious force. It instantaneously kills the dealer and miraculously revives Milo. Not only is Milo brought back to life, but he also gains the ability to walk. Back in Missouri, Ricky and Ellie are having dinner when the latter candidly expresses her discontent with what's going on. She believes that the aliens are playing with his mind, and this is why they aren't allowing him to move on from his past. Thus, she attempts to persuade him not to continue working for the overlords. But despite her concerns, Ricky insists that it's his responsibility, as he sees himself working for the betterment of the entire world. In addition, Ellie is also sad, as they are unable to have children despite their best attempts. The reason for this is unknown. However, their conversation is abruptly disrupted by their dogs barking. Ricky steps outside to check, only to be unexpectedly knocked out by some people. A short while later, he regains his consciousness and finds out that he has been abducted by the Freedom League militants. Ricky is then taken to a remote base, supervised by Hugo. Upon arriving at the massive underground bunker, Hugo proposes that they regain control from the overlords by destroying the positive changes they've brought to humanity. He also asks Ricky to join the Freedom League. Unbeknownst to him, Carolyn is broadcasting their entire communication to the public. Ricky refuses to participate in such an awful plan, which enrages Hugo. On his order, the League members pull out their guns and shoot towards him, but just moments before the bullets can reach him, the overlords freeze time around Ricky and terminate the broadcast. At that moment, a door opens and Annabelle appears, calling Ricky inside. However, he asks her not to come to him again because he has already buried her memory and wants to move on. Shortly after, Ricky is dropped back at his farmhouse, safe and sound. The following day, he attends another meeting with Carolyn, during which the alien figure behind the mirror informs him that the Freedom League is disbanding. Carolyn anticipates that the states will soon unite and people will live happily ever after. He thanks Ricky for his service and indicates that his assistance is no longer needed. Just before Ricky is sent back, he manages to capture a photograph of the mirror behind which Carolyn always hides. Upon returning home, he reviews the image with Ellie, and they understand the reason why Carolyn wanted to keep himself hidden. Now that Ricky is free from his work, he decides to begin a new chapter of his life and proposes to Ellie for marriage. The scene then fast-forwards 15 years, revealing that Milo has now graduated from MIT and works as an astrophysicist at the World Federation, a new unified government on Earth. The present world is completely different as compared to the past, as the aliens have successfully achieved their goals. Now, Carolyn finally decides to reveal himself to the general public. For this, a huge event is prepared at a stadium, and the people appear very excited to meet their guardian angel. Not long after, a giant spaceship lands on the stadium, and Carolyn starts coming out of it. Now, this is only a part of the movie. If you want to watch this full movie for free, check out the link in the description.